under a bridge, and I'm scared that people are gonna think I'm homeless and call the cops on me because I'm brown. My mental health is in the gutter. Like, it's weird because, like, there's so many good things and so many bad things. But I feel like that's literally everyone ever's experience in life, so I think I just need to suck it up. At the end of the day, there's people. Keep pushing, and eventually it will get better. Speaking of which, yeah, I am dealing with grief right now, and it sucks. It sucks more than literally anything I've ever experienced in my entire life. It's horrible. Like, whenever I have like known people who have lost, you know, loved ones, I'm like, man, that sucks. But like, I couldn't even begin to understand how they feel, because it's like, until it happens to you, you have literally no idea how it feels, because nothing on the planet is even comes close to that pain and emotion of losing a loved one. And it's just so, like, I literally can't even describe it. I don't even have a word to describe it. I lost my best friend Daniel to suicide, and we had plans to hang out a week after he did it. We had plans to have matching Halloween costumes. A couple months later, we had, you know, I expressed lots of things about, like, to him about how I was so depressed, and he never once said anything back to me about how he was depressed. So it was like I had no idea, and it's so frustrating that, like, he didn't reach out to anyone, because he had so many people to reach out to, and anyone, including myself, would have dropped literally everything to go to him in his time of need and to help him. Like, I would have literally done anything for him. And the fact that he either didn't think that people would be there for him, or he didn't think that it would help him reaching out to people, is like, it doesn't make any sense to me, because he was like the smartest person I know. And like, not saying that everyone who commits suicide is dumb, but like, I feel like you have to realize that, like, yeah, life sucks sometimes, but like, it will get better. And like, you have people in your life who love you and care for you, and like, I feel like he would just never would have done that to, you know, his family and his friends. Like, it just was so out of character. But it's like, that's really what the stereotype is it's the people that you least expect, the people who are the happiest, the people who make everyone laugh, and those are the people who commit suicide. And it always comes out of nowhere. It's never the people who are like super vocal about how depressed they are, and like people who are reaching out. And the amount of guilt that I feel on a daily basis is overwhelming, because I feel like, oh, I should have called him more, I should have asked him more questions, I should have known something was up, I should have like said this or done this. And you know, it's so hard, because you get so wrapped up in your own life that you like forget almost about like your family and your friend. Like, you don't forget about them, but you forget that, like, hey, I'm going through it right now, like maybe other people are too, and they're not talking about it. Like, let's reach out to each other and talk to each other. Like, I just it's really easy to get swept up in your own mind, and I know that that's probably what happened with him. And I know that he was also abusing substances, and that's a big reason of why I'm pretty much going to live 2026 for the most part sober, because it just doesn't help at all if you're struggling with mental health. With my journey with grief, I started out, when I found out, like, his ex-girlfriend had called me while I was on vacation, and I clearly broke down and, you know, was also in a state of shock. And then I kind of had to, you know, suck it up, because being so close to him and being one of his best friends, and like being, you know, the only friend that was like told, I had to then tell everybody, which was the hardest thing on the planet, calling everyone and texting everyone. And I mean, the love and support that I got was amazing, and I'm so grateful for everyone, you know, in my life, people that I, you know, never talked to, reaching out and being like, I'm here for you if you need anything, or if you need someone to talk to. And I think that's been the biggest, like, wake-up call for me recently, is like, oh my god, people like care about me. People like who I never thought would reach out to me, because it's like, and from my perspective, I'm like, I don't know these people that well. Like, if something like this happened to them, like, I don't even know if I would have reached out to them, you know? Because I'm like, oh, would they even want to hear from me? Like, they don't even, like, we don't talk, like, we don't know each other that well. But it's like, now it's completely changed my perspective, you know. I'm turning into a people person, because I'm like, wow, people are actually amazing. Because like before, I was such a people hater. I was like, oh, people suck, like everyone sucks, everyone has bad intentions, like can't trust anyone. And now I feel like I love people, and I want to reach out to people, and which I need to get better at. That's like my biggest 2026 resolution, is I'm gonna reach out to people, and I'm gonna, like, you know, just put myself out there, which I already felt like I put myself out there, but not in the way that I wanted to. In the past, I put myself out there and like, hey, like, let's be friends, like, let's hang out. But it's like, I need to put myself out there more, and like just text people and like message people, like, hey, like, if they're going through something, be like, hey, I'm here for you, or, you know, ask people how they're doing, and more of that side of stuff. And back to dealing with grief, I, you know, obviously was in kind of like okay, get it together mode, like, you know, making preparations for his funeral and everything, and plans. And so then up until then, it was like maybe a few weeks up until the funeral, I went back to work, and I cried a lot. I had to leave work a few times, but for the most part, I like avoided my feelings, and I avoided thinking about it, because like I felt like if I couldn't live my life while grieving, like I didn't believe in myself that I could like go to work and show up for people if I was like a mess. But then the funeral happened, and it was obviously like the worst day ever. But it was nice to see everybody. And then the very next day, I went to work. The funeral was 4 hours away. Left at, I don't even know how late, got home at 2 o'clock in the morning, woke up at 6 in the morning, went to work. Like, I'm telling you, like, if I were to go back, I would have prioritized myself, but at the same time, you know, with my job being a zookeeper, like working with animals, like being with the animals did help me a lot, like in hindsight, and it was a good distraction. But at the end of the day, like, distracting myself, it wasn't, you know, good for me. because I just avoided healing and grieving and feeling my emotions. And then after the funeral, I kind of, after that was all said and done, I didn't really have to be strong anymore because all the hard stuff and business stuff I had to take care of was done. And okay, what the hell is going on? I'm so scared. I did see a dog that was like loose this morning and I thought I was going to get tackled. It looked like there was a van chasing it. I don't know if it was animal control, but anyways, I spiraled after the funeral. I started smoking cigarettes again. I was drinking a lot. I was like just crying. I was like, I let my apartment get so nasty that I had maggots in my sink. Like, I was not doing okay, to say the least. And I didn't lean on the right people, and I didn't lean on enough people. I mean, there was lots of, friends that, mutual friends I had with Daniel, who passed, and so like we would talk every once in a while, but they were not physically near me, so it was hard. I did isolate myself a lot, and then I kind of did a 180, and I was like, okay, I'm done with this, like, I'm done feeling like this and living like this. So I, just started to think only positively. Like, okay, what are the lessons that I'm learning from the situation? Like, how am I going, like, okay, I'm still alive, so I want to live my life to the fullest, and, blah, blah, blah. And so it seemed like I was happy and like healing and recovering, but I was just avoiding. Like, I just didn't think about him at all, because as soon as I did, I would start crying. So I just avoided thinking about him specifically and him not being here. And I kind of, whenever I thought of him as if he was still alive. And whenever I thought about the situation, I thought about it in like kind of like from a third person view, which is, yeah, definitely was a coping defense mechanism. But I was thinking of it as like in the grand scheme thing of like grief, and like, oh, if I was like looking at someone, if I was a therapist and I was looking at someone else going through grief, this is how I would tell them to think. And I was trying to have that mindset, and but I wasn't like actually feeling anything or healing at all, because I was just avoiding literally every emotion, or I was avoiding reality at the end of the day. Like, yeah. And then I got a text from his mom that he had written me a suicide note, and it was like I was just experiencing grief all over again. Like, a lot of this is like a roller coaster where it's like I'm doing better, and then it's just something happens and it's like, oh, I'm actually at square one, and this is the worst I've ever felt. And it was just like so much of that. And basically, like, yeah, the suicide note made me feel even more guilty. There was no explanation, and it was, him being so sweet and nice, but also, admitting things to me, and making me think all of these what ifs. And it was like I don't think I'll be able to date anyone for a long time, and I don't think I'll be able to like I really need to come to terms with that note and how it makes me feel, and like how I'm gonna move forward with my life, because it just made me think about a lot of different things. And I know that, you know, a lot of it is not on me, you know. It's like he didn't tell me these things until after he killed himself, and he wrote it to me in a note. So it's not my fault for not knowing certain things, but I do feel guilty because it's like, oh, I should have picked up on these things, or I should have been aware of these things, or, you know, there were things that I did know that I chose to ignore or didn't acknowledge or brushed off. And I think the biggest thing though is just like the what ifs, like, because I will never get to talk to him ever again in my entire life, and I'll never be able to have some of my questions answered, and I'll never be able to just talk to him about what he wrote to me. And it's like the hardest thing ever, because like there's so many questions I have, and there's so many things that I like want to talk to him about that we didn't get to talk about, and it's so like it's it's like a mind fuck, because it's like I can just make up a bunch of things in my head, and I just like can assume a bunch of things, which I know is not healthy. Yeah, at the end of the day, like, he was also probably under the influence when he was like writing the note and when he was, you know, performing the act. And so it's like, okay, how much of this is him and how much of it is, you know, because you're like, when people like get drunk and then they like do things, they're like, oh, I want to do that when I was sober. I didn't have the courage until I was drunk. But at the same time, like, your mind is altered, and like it's not 100% you when you're doing those things when you're drunk. Yeah, that the note messed me up a lot. It did. It made it even harder, and it made it more real, and it made it because it's like, oh, he planned this out, like this was premeditated, and like he thought that he could write me a note, but he didn't pick up the phone and call me like before. Like, it's just like, how could someone go through with something so permanent? It's like, did he not have questions that he wanted answered before? Like, when you think that you're going to be best friends with someone for your entire life, and then they die young, and there's so many moments that you're gonna miss with that person, and there's so many future things. Like, for example, I'm getting together with my friends next month, you know, all of our mutual friends, and the whole time I'm just gonna be wishing that he was there, and I'm gonna be so sad that he's not there. And it's like, is that how the rest of my life is gonna be? Like, just sad? And I know for a fact, like, my mental state is never going to go back to what it was before, and I'm never going to be as happy as I was before, and I know it's going to be like a never-ending journey until I die of just, you know, coping with grief. But I mean, I do know that I'm going to have happy times, you know, again in the future, and I think, you know, your 20s is just hard in general, so going through this is like, okay, great, like, but I do think it will get better. I had a moment where I was like, okay, I need to stop avoiding, and I need to start healing and feeling and grieving. And so I started to do that, and I tried in a healthier way, not like me smoking and drinking and crying all the time. I tried to do it in a healthy way, and it didn't work. I had a panic attack for the very first time, and I was like, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was happening. I was so scared. I had like, my chest hurt for like hours, and like eventually I drove myself to the emergency room, and like nothing was wrong with me physically. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on with me? And they were like, are you going through lots of stress right now? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, it was probably a panic attack. And I was like, oh. And that's when I, you know, went to a psychiatrist and therapist and got on meds and everything, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start dealing with this in a healthy way, and work was just really stressing me out, so I was like, I can't do this right now. And the people at my job I like didn't love. Now like I have people reaching out to me from my job, but like being super nice and sweet and saying that they wish me the best and that they hope I'm doing okay. And I'm like, oh wow, like I didn't think that these people cared or that they would have reached out to me, because I personally wouldn't have reached out to them. So I think that at the end of the day, I'm learning that I'm a projector, and I project my intentions and my feelings onto other people, and I need to start having better intentions. I need to start being kinder and giving people the benefit of the doubt and seeing the good in people. And so I left the job, and I felt instantly better. And it's like, it is like, working in a toxic place is the worst, because it's like, that's your life. You're there 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So it's like, it is really important to love your job, and like, at least like the people that you work with. So now I'm living with my mom and on my healing journey, and I'm trying to have a balance of like, okay, I need to feel my emotions and cry and think about him, but I also need to, continue to think positively and think about my future and think about the lessons that I've learned, and but it needs to be a balance. And I think that I stress about the little things, as do many people, and but when you lose someone, especially early in life, it puts things into perspective. And I'm so happy that that these things are put into perspective for me. But it's like, obviously I would rather have my best friend and still be like super immature and naive and making bad decisions, but like, if I had to lose him, then like, at least I'm happy that now I realize like, okay, this is what I want in life, and this is what's important to me, like connecting with people, being there for people, living a simple life where I appreciate the small things, being intentional. And it's like, I constantly go back and forth between nothing matters, like we're literally on a floating rock, to everything matters, like this is our one life, like we need to live it, like come on now. And so that's where I'm at right now, and hopefully life gets better.